Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to get this a little bit bigger so we can have something to talk about. Hey, thanks for including this page here with both of them side by side. Actually, you didn't need to do that, but it's a really nice way for me to just talk to you about them at the same time. And great submission here. Wonderful write-up, great references. And then you also included your metering shots somewhere in here. I'm sure they're here. I know I saw them. I have a little checklist. So yes, metering shot. And then your lighting setups. Perfect. Great, great, great. Really nice. Very thorough. Very thorough job on this. Let me get back to that. There it is. Okay. So what you have here is, like you said, you've got about a 1 to 2 right here and a 1 to 8 right here. It's exactly what you have. Also, you know, and I don't know how much if you did this knowingly or not, but you were able to get a little bit of light back into her eye right here, which is difficult to do when you're shooting at such a high ratio. So really, really nice job there. And you know, my only real criticism, and it's not even criticism actually, it's just advice, is when you're doing portraiture like this and you're using one of these prefab backgrounds. That's just fine, but you want to really, like, the background is supposed to feel abstracted, right? So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you use exposure settings and a setup that maximizes the abstract, nondescript feel of your prefab backgrounds. So, 2 tricks to do this. 1, a larger aperture, because it's going to give you a narrower depth of field, so you can get this well out of your range of acceptable focus. And 2, more space between the model and the backdrop. There's a shot here that really describes this. Okay, so here I can see that she's sitting, you know, pretty close to that backdrop. It's probably like, you know, within 2 to 3 feet of her. So what you want to do with a backdrop like this, because you're shooting portraiture, you know, with your camera up on its side, right? So you want to, and it's designed so that it's roughly the size of your sensor. It's perfect, or your viewfinder, however you want to look at it. So what you want to do is push this back, you know, really look through your viewfinder, set up the scene before your model gets there, because the stool is of course a stand-in for your model, and push this back and make sure there's space between the stool and the backdrop until the backdrop is just filling the frame, but almost, it's, you know, if you move any more space between you and the backdrop and the where the model's going to be standing, it'll be out of frame. So that way, you know, if you're giving yourself 5 or 6 feet between the model and the backdrop can be well out of your acceptable range of focus. So it's out of your depth of field. And then the abstract qualities of that backdrop are really, really maximized. Now, you know, of course, when you do that, you're going to have to think really carefully about the lighting of the backdrop, because it's going to be so far behind the model that the lights that you're using on the model aren't going to effectively light the backdrop, so you might need a third light to illuminate the backdrop if that's what you want, or maybe you want it in darkness. You know, it's totally up to you. I really like putting a lot of space between my model and the backdrop because of that, because then I can very easily light the backdrop all by itself. I can put a gradient on it, you know, I could put a spotlight on it, I can put a gobo in there and make crazy shapes on it, and it's not affecting the light of my model whatsoever, the light that's on my model. Okay, so that's my photographer's tip for you today. And then my photographer's shout out is nice job getting light back into the eye here on this high ratio. Really fantastic job using light to give us a much different feel for your subject. I mean, and, you know, and I think you could have gone even more high key on this. Like, I think that you could have, if you really wanted to take a picture that's describing her light and cheerful disposition, you could have really just, you know, put these 2 lights equidistant and given her a really flat, high-key look. Also, you know, no, that's it. That's all I would say right there. And then the other thing, I guess I would say, when you're shooting portraits, be really aware of the space above the model's head and then where her body intersects your frame, you know, just to make sure that you don't have anything awkward going on. I would say this is nice, the way this curvature of her shoulder right here and there, I really like that. But you want to pay attention to where her head falls in here, because you can see, like, right here, we would expect to have the action of her face, that the action of her face would be like, you know, that part of the face. We would expect that to be falling on, sorry, the grid. If you use the rule of thirds, is that what it's called? Wow, I'm just drawing a blank. But you know, when you draw a grid that has 9 boxes on your frame, you would expect this to fall on one of those intersections. And that would also solve the problem of all the space above her head. That's it. But I think other than that, you did a great job. Just really, use your compositional rules. Hopefully you've taken photographic design, so use the rules and the concepts that you learned there and apply them to every shot you take in this class. Because really what we do is we work cumulatively. And so when I give you feedback, it's based on all the classes I think you probably have taken by now. So I'm going to talk to you about design. I'm not going to talk to you too much about post-processing because I don't want it in this class. But so we'll talk to you about design and about lighting at the same time, because we always want you to be adding to your arsenal of awesome, right? Okay, so really great job on this. Fantastic submission. You included everything. You did what you were supposed to do. You gave us a different mood using only the lights. And so great job, Nessie. Thank you very much.